Welcome on in, everyone. My name is Sabrina Vixaria, the Siren within, the part of me that I finally chose to give a voice. I'm still workshopping that. I It feels weird to talk and say that, especially as a guy saying that, as this whatever. Anyways, it's been a while since we've been here, been since we've streamed. I'll probably talk about that a little bit as we're playing and just kind of go over that, I guess. I don't know. Um, I'm excited to finally finish this today, finally pushing myself to stream and trying to get back on the right track for all of this. So, we are back with Spyro today. Hopefully, my plan today is to finish the first game. We'll see how I do. Um, but I'm not sure. Because we're at 61%. I believe we're doing pretty well. I forget how much of the game there actually is. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So we're in the fourth world. I don't know if there's 5 or 6. We'll find that out today for sure. And in addition to that, we've finished the current overworld, I guess you would call it. Collected everything for that. Did treetops. Glad to not have to deal with that. Although I did remember there's another level that I don't like coming up. I'll make sure to point that out when I get to it. But we have that to look forward to. At least we have treetops done. And then wild flight and skill points doing pretty good. I think Terrace Village and Metalhead are both in this world. And I might I was gonna say I might start with Metalhead, but I kind of want to get back into the swing of things a little bit, so I'll probably not go for him right off the bat. But just looking at this, yeah, I think there are 5 worlds. And then maybe like a half world in order to get to Nasty Nork. Um, so yeah, we're looking pretty good. Hoping that, like I said, we can get this done today. I'm going until probably noonish for me. I know I'm streaming early today, and I'll talk about that as well. Um, but yeah, excited to hop back in finally. I've been itching to play Spyro, and it's I just haven't had the time or the effort, whatever. Again, we'll talk about it, but we're finally back, and I'm excited for it. Um, and early morning for me, so it makes a little more sense, I guess, to have an energy drink to start the day. But we're gonna try Babe by Buck, or it's Bucked Up Energy, but they're like female line, I guess. It just says Babe by Bucked Up Energy. We're trying Raspberry Twist today. I've had their I forget what it's called. Is it Cherry Blossom? The other Babe flavor. And that was excellent. That was like a strawberry rose kind of taste. Very good. It was um, very excellent. So I'm hoping that the raspberry twist lives up to my expectations. So I'm gonna crack it open and we'll see. All right. Smells really good. Oh yeah, very good. Very good. I'm sorry if you can hear me swallowing or anything. I'm trying to be cognizant of that, but yeah, very good. I'm a huge blue raspberry fan. This is like a blue raspberry lemonade. Although tasting it, it does taste more distinctly blue raspberry. But yeah, that's really good. Um, I'm not huge on a lot of Bucked Up's drinks. I'm very particular about them. I've had, I don't know how many of them I've had, but um, some of them are fine. I don't particularly like that they're 300 milligrams of caffeine. You know, I try to keep my caffeine intake under or around 300 per day. You know, I generally it's 200 because most of the drinks that I have are 200 milligrams. So I that's kind of my range of where I keep things. Um, but I, you know, as I've had more and more energy drinks, hold on, let me see real quick. I need to, I think, change my cutoff a little bit so I can bounce a little bit on the screen. This, what was the skill point for this world? No electric floor damage. Okay. Yeah, so I like to keep my intake to about 200 milligrams. Occasionally, you know, now that I've had energy drinks more, I I have a little more higher tolerance to drinking them. So 300 is not as like I guess I don't know how I want to phrase that actually. It's more tolerable is basically what I'm trying to say. 300 is more tolerable now that I have more consistently had energy drinks and whatnot, which is not great. You know, I'm not saying that you should have energy drinks. It's something that my friend and I started doing. It's kind of been fun for the two of us to share that together. But it's not a great habit to start. So if you don't drink energy drinks, I would say probably don't start. I would suggest that you go to bed earlier, wake up at you know, go to bed at a consistent time, wake up consistently at a good time, get sunlight. Which I know is crazy to say if you're watching this. You're probably a degenerate like me, but the more natural stuff is good for you. It's just my friend and I started drinking energy drinks, and it's kind of spiraled downhill. So, like I said, I like to keep it at 200. I limit myself to one drink a day. Um, and I was talking about Bucked Up drinks, right? So, not a lot of flavors of theirs that I particularly like.
Watch out, Spyro. The Norks in these parts have discovered the power of electricity, and it really stings.
I recently, because I use a website called Energy Drink City, and that's a dangerous place because you can just pretty much buy any and every energy drink you can think of that's on the market, including plenty of ones that you've never heard of before. So I've tried a lot from Energy Drink City. So a lot of the Bucked Up flavors that I get are through Energy Drink City. One of the ones that I had recently that I really liked was their strawberry kiwi, which is not one I've been able to find in person. There's like a select, there's a good number of Bucked Up energy drinks that I can find around. It's just there's a lot more specific flavors that I can't. And I don't like a lot of the ones that you can just get at the store or whatever. I don't know why I'm rambling about this, but I guess it's kind of an insight into something that's been fun for me. I'm not going to say how many energy drinks and brands and stuff that I've tried. I've been keeping a spreadsheet of all the drinks that I've tried, and I'm not proud of it. It's I even have listed on my spreadsheet that I have a problem, and it's not good. Uh, there's a lot of great drinks out there. Let's get these guys. Okay. Um, I guess because like it's at a point where I'm almost drinking them for the taste and not even the caffeine anymore, which is not good. You know, you should, if you're gonna drink it, it should be for a little bit of a boost and not every day. Or if, I don't know. It's yeah, it's just it's not a good habit to start, I guess.
Good job, Spyro. One day you'll be able to tell all the dragons about your amazing adventures.
Sure, but what I'd really like to do is get out of this swamp.
So I'm trying to think where my train of thought was going with that, you know. But my I guess we can kind of chat a little bit about some of the drinks that I like, some of my favorite brands and whatnot, because why not? Um, because you know I've had enough at this point where I have started to see preferences rise up and efficiency and effectiveness and all that stuff. And this won't be the only time I'll talk about it, I'm sure. I'm sure if I ever have actual people come into chat that we'll get into the discussion a little bit more. But if we're talking favorite brands specifically, I kind of break it down a little bit. If I'm going for pure taste, you know, flavor wise, what tastes the best in my opinion, I would say Alani Nu is my favorite brand. I'm a huge fan of their flavors. Breezeberry is my number one, and maybe my number one drink of all time. I don't know if that's a controversial take or not, but wait, hold on a second. Electric floor. Okay, just making sure on that. There we go. Cool. All right. I just didn't cross the threshold, I guess. Yeah. So I guess my favorite brand for flavor is Alani Nu. Like I said, Breezeberry is my number one. But consistently with Alani, you're gonna get exactly as advertised. You know, if you know, they've got all kinds of different flavors and different drinks and whatnot. Whatever flavor is listed is gonna be what you're gonna get, and it's pretty spot on. You know, I think I've had, I forget how many drinks that they have that I've tried. It's quite a few. I want to say it's like 20 different flavors. And out of those, I think I've only not finished 2. But like even flavors that I like wouldn't normally enjoy, I'm still finishing because they're flavorful enough that you can enjoy them. And I think that the 2 drinks, the 2 flavors that I hadn't finished were, they have one called Dream Float, which is like an orange creamsicle. And I'm not big on orange drinks and orange creamsicle stuff. I guess Dream Float would be uh, like a root beer float, but an orange soda ice cream float. kind of thing. Wasn't great. I took a few sips of it and dumped it. And then the other was they had a limited edition pumpkin cream flavor, which I'm sure you would agree does not sound great, and I would agree with that. Although I collect cans, and I really wanted it for my collection, so I decided to try it anyways. And it's like I don't like pumpkin stuff. It's whatever. Um, so I tried it. You know, it's okay, but it wasn't something that I could stomach finishing. You know, I would probably say it was a little bit better than the Dream Float, but it wasn't great either. And you know, the only other flavor that I've had that I disliked was, hold on, is there a thing here? No, there's not. Yeah. Um, the mimosa flavor. They had a mimosa flavor. I don't know if they still make it or not, but it wasn't that great. Outside of that, Alani is very solid flavor-wise. You're gonna get great flavors. Although they did just get bought, I think, by Dr. Pepper, I think, or Pepsi. I don't remember specifically who bought Alani. But the flavors, I know people have said that the kind of ingredient list or the overall taste has changed. But I can't speak on that for sure. You know, it tastes pretty much the same to me from what I've had. But that's my 2 cents on that, is that flavor wise, Alani is my favorite. It tastes the best in my opinion. If I'm going for reliability in terms of being able to find it wherever, I would say Monster, probably. Monster is kind of weird because it has a specific taste to it that's very distinctly Monster. But if that doesn't bother you, then Monster is really good. It's just, I would say a lot of Monster flavors taste the same, but with like a slight change, if that makes sense. Like they all have a distinct Monster taste. It's just they'll have like a tinge of whatever flavor it's supposed to be. Like Ultra Strawberry Dreams tastes like Monster, but it's got strawberry flavor to it. And you know, you can do that with orange or grape or whatever. It tastes like that flavor, but it has Monster in it. But point being, the reliability of you can find a Monster anywhere. So that's, and it's good enough, and it's 160 milligrams of caffeine, not bad. So if you really had to, you could drink 2 of them in a day, and that's kind of comforting in a way. Not that I like to limit myself to 1 drink a day. You know, preferably none, but if I'm gonna have an energy drink, I try to limit it to just 1. But it's nice knowing that if I drink 1, I do kind of have the kind of the option if I wanted to, I suppose. And then beyond that, I would say in terms of effectiveness for drinks that I find the energy drink actually seems to do something for me, and it's not like I'm just drinking it for the taste at this point, would be Gorilla Mind. Again, Gorilla Mind, more of their older flavors I noticed it, but with their newer flavors, I don't notice the like Gorilla Mind flavor. It's hard to explain it if you haven't had one of those drinks before, exactly what that entails. Like the monster flavor or Gorilla Mind flavor or whatever. But once you've had it, it's like, once you've had it, it makes sense. But to me, Gorilla Mind is the one that when I drink it, it kind of hits me and is like, oh, I feel that sense of clarity and like a little bit of that energy boost. And so that's how I would kind of categorize it, you know, break it down that way. Flavor wise, Alani Nu, reliability and finding it, Monster, and then effectiveness, Gorilla Mind would be the winner. You know, and then because of Energy Drink City, I've tried a bunch of different drinks that I never would have tried before.
Thank you for releasing me.
Oh, yeah, you got it, brother. There's so many different drinks that I would never have tried before. And mainly because I can't find them anywhere. So two of the other brands that I really like that I've found through Energy Drink City are there's a brand called Lost and Found. I've tried I think 3 of their flavors, all really good, really flavorful. So they're a brand I really like. And then another solid flavorful brand is called Grizzly. They've got a ton of good flavors. They don't have a lot of flavors, but they've got like 6 or 7. I'm sorry, the brain rot has taken over on that. They have like 6 or 7 flavors, and might actually be 8.
Smash them, Spyro. Stamp them out and squish them and squash them.
I missed his name.
How about charge them and flame them? We are dragons after all.
But Grizzly's very solid, and so those are 2 others I recommend. But you know, then there are a myriad of other drinks that I just can't think of off the top of my head that are really good. You know, because the spreadsheet that I have is one to keep track of the drinks that I've had, but also to rank them and kind of keep track and be like, okay, this drink was really good, or this drink really sucked. And then in the future, it's like, okay, I'm not just grabbing drinks that I know I'm not gonna like. I come back to it and it's like, okay, this is a good drink. I know that. So that's kind of what I do with my spreadsheet, is I just kind of rank them. Or I do a tier list, because I can't rank things from like, I can't rank like a top 5, top 10 or anything like that. And tiers are better for me. And I think I have like, I want to say 20 or so that are in my S tier. My S tier is essentially, if I bought a case of this, I would be perfectly happy drinking it all. And it wouldn't last me very long. And then like A tier would be, it's really good. If I wanted to pick it up, I could. Wow, I'm just lost train of thought there. Yeah, if I come across it and I don't have one of my top flavors to pick from, A tier is certainly good enough to do that, and it's fine. And then, you know, B tier for me would be, it's okay. You know, it's really not bad. If I was in a pinch and I really needed it, then I would pick it up. Otherwise, I'm most likely not going to. It's not my first choice, not my second choice. It's kind of a last resort almost. And then from there, you know, you get C tier, which is, C tier is the last tier that's really I would consider drinkable. If I'm getting a drink and I really, really needed something, that would do in a very desperate pinch. Otherwise, I'm not gonna get it. And then, you know, you get D tier, which is, if I've tried it, I don't care for it, but I've at least finished the drink. Or, you know, I finished it, but I know I'll never get it again. Then a drink slots into D tier. And then, you know, you get to my F tier, which would be, it's horrible. It's not worth drinking. It's just, there's no redeeming qualities about it. You know, if I wasn't gonna get anything in D tier, like, not even gonna bother with F tier. It's just, it's bottom of the barrel. And so it's been fun kind of keeping track of the drinks that I've tried and all the stuff that I did enjoy. You know, so when my friend and I hang out, you know, we can kind of, what we tend to do is, when we hang out, is kind of drive around and check out stores like Vitamin Shop or Target or, you know, GNC, stores that have energy drinks, and we just look for new releases, or, you know, it's just kind of a day for us to spend and just try stuff, you know. So it's fun. But what, I don't know why I did that again. But yeah, so it's fun. Again, not a habit that I recommend anybody pick up and start. If you're already doing it, you should probably, wow, I think I'm too focused on talking, but I'd rather be kind of yapping a little bit. But yeah, so that's kind of my energy drink rant, I suppose. Not a rant, but just a yap session. But yeah, just, I figured I'd chat a little bit about it, because I do enjoy it. I don't share it with a lot of people. Like, you know, I talk with my friend about it, obviously, but outside of that, I don't really chat with anybody about drinks. This is, I can't believe how horribly this is going. But yeah, so if you drink energy drinks and you like that kind of stuff, feel free to come by and chat sometime. You know, it's, I enjoy it. You know, it's weird how that has kind of become a thing for me. I think I'm just gonna do that for those guys now. You know, it's fun. It's a random, oh my, I'm terrible this morning. I can't get back to that chicken. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I've got energy drink of the day listed on my overlay here. So if you're ever interested, come in and chat about energy drinks and whatever. I'm always happy to talk about that and kind of chit chat, whatever. Plus, it gives me stuff to talk about. You know, it's. I know that's something that I'm working on with streaming, and it's kind of segueing a little bit into what else I wanted to chat about today. You know, can I just not be ass at this right now? You know, it kind of segues into what else I wanted to chat about with uh, building confidence with streaming and just talking and interacting with people. You know, that's a huge part of why I want to stream, is to build confidence in myself. You know, let's see what Damon has to say.
Thanks for releasing me. It seems like I've been trapped in here since I was your age.
Oh no.
Why? I remember.
Gotta go.
Yeah, so what was I saying? Confidence while streaming and stuff. You know, I don't have a lot of confidence myself. You know, I was thinking about it and trying to think of different tips and tricks and all this and that. Was it 100% here? All right, sweet. You know, because I'm very new to streaming myself. Obviously, I've watched streamers for years and years at this point. It's something that I've wanted to try myself for probably almost a decade. But a lot of it is I just never had confidence in myself, you know, and I'm at a point where I want to build that confidence in myself. I want to enjoy just interacting and not feeling like I have to put on a show or performance every time that I interact, or, you know, I don't really kind of know how to phrase it, but, you know, it's you know, I struggle with anxiety issues, and a lot of it, I mean, pretty much any anxiety that you can think of, I have: social, general, performance, anticipatory. Like, there's so many different types of anxiety that I have. And a lot of that is just a lack of confidence in myself. And it's so tiring. You know, I do. I get so tired of not being confident in myself. And, you know, one of the things that I've noticed in my streams, you know, I should go back and rewatch them and kind of take notes and stuff. I don't, because again, that's another thing. I don't like listening to my voice. I cringe at it. But it's one of those things where I've seen tips and tricks of other streamers and whatnot online say, yeah, go back, watch your clips, or, you know, watch your VODs and just learn, you know, kind of pick up things that you do, things that you can do better. And I'm not good at doing that. Sorry, I just kind of lost train of thought there because those guys coming at me, and trying not to take any hits. Yeah, so going back to, you know, the confidence and all that. Just sorry, I totally zoned out on that. But confidence building. What was I trying to say with that? Yeah, one of the things that I know I do a lot of, not just when I stream, but also in real life, that is something that I really want to work on, is, again, it's the confidence in myself that I am capable of doing things, and that I'm worthy and can do things. You know, I don't have to worry about not being perfect and this and that, which is a huge issue for me, is trying to be perfect and controlling everything. But I can't do that. You know, it's something that I know I can't do. You know, it's just not the way things work, right? Nobody can ever be perfect, and You gonna toss that guy? Thank you. Nobody can ever be perfect. You're gonna make mistakes. And my whole life it's been, god damn it. Does that, I don't know if that counts towards the fight itself. We'll see. But what's it called? You know, it's just, it's one of those things where deep down I know I can't be perfect, but I try to present myself as perfect. And it's same thing with streaming, as I try to make everything perfect and control everything so that it's just right, you know.
Metalhead is all charged up to me.
Siddiqui, that's a cool name.
Should disrupt his power supply.
But it's never gonna be perfect, you know. Like even this morning, I'm trying to set up stream, and I have more scuff, and it's like, that's just the way things go with this. And hold on, I'm kind of like focused here a little bit. I know he's throwing shit at me. Alright, cool. So he destroyed himself too. Man, I keep losing my train of thought while I'm doing this. But, going up? No, we're going that way. Ooh. God, it's hard. This is one of the things with streaming that you don't realize is multitasking, which is not super easy to do. What's it called? Man, I had this whole train of thought, and it's gone. But yeah, so kind of the perfectionism, you know, it's realizing that I can't be perfect, and learning to make mistakes is okay. And you know, I've gone my whole life trying to be perfect, but it's not possible. And it's something that I'm slowly learning. But that's what I want to do with streaming, is it's just kind of like, it's not going to be perfect. You know, oh, okay, cool. So it was just the fight specifically. Awesome. That's good to know. I won't remember that in the future when I play through the games, but it's good to know. But that's what, like, this whole streaming thing, like, I know I can't be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Scuff, that's what I was talking about. You know, this morning there was scuff. I feel like every time I've tried to stream lately, there's been some sort of scuff, and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't know how to fix this, and whatever. And it gets frustrating, but it's like, it's just kind of part of the way things work, you know. It's not going to be perfect, and it's good practice for that, of being like, okay, when shit hits the fan, how are you going to respond? You know, you didn't plan for this, because that's one thing that I always do, is I always try to plan for every little thing that could go wrong, and instead that hinders me and prevents me from just doing things and living. And hold on, I'm trying to think here. You know, it prevents me from just living life, and it sucks. You know, and I've finally started trying to work on that, and it's hard. It's a hard habit to break. Like I said, I've been this way my entire life, and it's a hard habit to break. But that's, like I said, part of why I want to stream, is to build that confidence and just say fuck it, and just say, all right, it's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. So, and that kind of leads me to you know, coming into today, finally doing it, or, you know, finally streaming for the first time in what, like 2-3 weeks, whatever. You know, I'm trying to find ways to make it perfect, and it's never gonna be perfect. And I'm trying to realize that. Are we going up here? I'm trying to. I'm blanking out on this part here. Again, because I'm rambling on, but I'm trying to think. I think there was something I missed back with Metalhead, right? Something that like opens gates and shit. Trying to remember buttons here. Okay, yeah, I know I gotta go up there, Sparks. Yeah. But yeah, like, so streaming, that's it, like it's just kind of that outlet where I can just talk, and then hopefully people will show up and find it entertaining, and it can turn into something, you know, even just for fun. But it would be cool just to have that and just say, okay, yeah, you know what, I can do this. I can be confident and just trust myself. And yeah, I know I gotta go that way, Sparks, but my brain's not working right now. You know, just to build that confidence in myself. And I'm excited to do it. It's just, I gotta push myself to actually do it, you know? Where am I going? I just cannot, for the life of me, remember what I'm supposed to do here. I was so busy just talking. I've completely lost what I'm supposed to do. Now I can go up there. Where's the key? I'm trying to remember that. See, this kind of illustrates my point exactly. It's like, oh, I look like a fool, not knowing where I'm supposed to go, and this and that and whatever. But that's kind of part of the process, right? Is just being okay with not knowing the answer. And just trying to work my way through it, you know? It's funny how this has turned into kind of like an impromptu therapy session for me, but it does kind of let me vent a little bit and go through my thought process and everything. But that's, you know, it's part of why it's been a struggle for me to stream, is just like I struggle very much with all or nothing thinking. And all or nothing thinking is kind of like, well, if I don't have the energy or the means or the know-how to give it my all, what's the point? Why, you know, why bother? You know, and it's something I struggle with a lot of things, you know, particularly like exercising. That's one of those things where it's like, it hits me the most with that, where it's like, well, I don't have the energy to commit an hour or 45 minutes or whatever to do an exercise or just a quick walk or whatever, this or that, you know, and instead I end up doing nothing. And I have to remind myself that even doing something, no matter how small it might be, if it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, it's better than doing nothing, right? And that's kind of the roadblock I've hit with streaming recently is, you know, can I commit time to streaming? Can I commit time and energy to having somebody come in here and interact and actually put on a brave face and just interact with people, and rather than sucking it up, or, you know, it's not sucking it up, but pushing myself to give it a shot, even if it's for streaming for 15 minutes. And if I don't feel like I'm doing what I need to do, then so be it. I can end it. Rather than kind of having that train of thought, it has been, okay, well, I don't have the energy to and want to do it, so I'm just not going to do it. And that's not really a healthy way of looking at it, you know? Like in some cases, sure, that could work, I suppose. But I know specifically for me, it's not a healthy way to look at it.
Oh, I feel much better now that so
Cray.
many dragons have been rescued.
That's cray cray.
Jump in the balloon. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's move on. See, just that little thing. I already lost my train of thought. Oh my god, it's so bad. My microphone just buzzing. That was weird. I just noticed on OBS it was like something was keeping it steady. I can't see this. I did not think multitasking would be this hard. Hold on, let me try to think what I was just saying. Like, I like totally lost the train of thought. Oh, the all or nothing thinking, right? Like I would guess I don't know what cases all or nothing thinking would really be beneficial. You know, like sitting back to actually talk and think about it. It's like, in what way is it actually beneficial? I don't really know the answer to that. Hold on, let's just check real quick. Dreamweavers, Haunted Towers, Lofty Castle. So this world, there's a secret room, Haunted Towers, Lofty Castle. Okay. I think I'll do those first. But yeah, all or nothing thinking. Now that I'm like I'm actually talking about it, it's like, when is it actually useful? And I don't have a good answer for that. Oh, shit, I forgot that would blow me up. So, you know, part of me is trying to be perfect and like trying to convince myself to stream. Latif. Also a cool name.
Welcome to the Dreamweavers, young one. While chasing Nasty's minions in this world, you must expect the unexpected and prepare for what is not there.
Yeah, so like me streaming is just another way. I feel like I'm also repeating myself, but that's okay. I'm just losing track of thought and all that, but I think I gotta take the stairs up, right? I think they have to get small, right? I don't think I can hit them when they're big. Let's test it. Nope, cannot. Okay. But, you know, it's just... Oh. We've got Jacques. Okay, that's where we are gonna go to leave. But, you know, again, coming back to the perfectionism and trying to make things perfect for streaming. And like I said, it's never going to be perfect. It's like with anything, it's never going to be perfect. You just kind of have to go with it and roll with the punches as things go. Oh, I see. Okay. And so that's part of why I want to stream, why it's taking me so long to stream. Again, I've been trying to make things perfect, and they're not going to be perfect. There we go. And I'm hoping that just today, just sitting here talking, just pushing myself to say, all right, we're going to find a time that works. Zakomo. Last couple of dragons have had such cool names. But, you know, just pushing myself, finally finding a time. You know, I've been looking at streaming as like, I want this to take off. I want this to be something that can be sustainable and worth my time and this and that. But I can't, I'm putting the cart before the horse, which I do with everything else in life. And I have to just take it one step at a time and actually start. I have to start streaming. I can't just think about all these other things first. It's just, what can I do to, oh, right. What can I, you know, rather than how can I make this perfect, it's what can I do for myself to get myself to do this?
The fools you
Ozzy.
see in this world are invincible, but that does not mean they shouldn't be attacked.
Sounds all right to me.
Let's go up here first, and we'll actually, yeah, no, let's do that, because I don't think this goes anywhere. We'll ride it up and see. But, you know, like with the streaming stuff, I've been trying to be too perfect with it. It's like, okay, what is the optimal time frame to stream in, and how do I reach the most people, and this and that? And it's like, no, just stream. You have to start somewhere. Just stream and see how things go. Have fun with it. Don't worry about what things, you know, everything else that you can't control right now. It's just go and do stuff. And it's hard to remember that, but I'm trying to remind myself and be like, yeah, this is what we're trying to do here, is just do this for fun. Enjoy it. Don't burn yourself out trying to do this or that or be something that I'm not. Just enjoy it. Have fun. So I'm hopeful that what I'm trying to do and today will be kind of that first step of like, okay, let's just hit the reset on this and just have fun. Don't turn this into something that it's not, because it's going to ruin my perspective on everything before I even get started. So yeah, that's kind of my long rant about why I haven't been streaming and what I'm trying to do moving forward, you know. And one of the other things was trying to set up schedule and being like, okay, if I set a schedule up, I am going to be more consistent about when I hop on and actually stream and this and that. Again, wasn't working for me, so I'm trying to find ways to make it work for me. So it's just, at this point in time, rather than be so perfect about it, just when I feel like streaming, we're gonna stream. And that's basically my thought process going into this, is just, I want to stream right now, so I'm gonna do that. So yeah. Oh, icy flight. Okay, that's gonna be our flight level. So we'll do that in just a minute. Just make sure we are all set here, level-wise. I believe the secret room is right here, right? Yeah. Here are... Because I'm guessing it's just 10? Yeah. Where's the last 10? It's probably some enemies, or... guess back in this area over here. Oh, I see them. I'm usually pretty good about that, but not this time. Okay, cool. Done. We're gonna go to do the icy flight, whatever it's called. Knock that one out, and then we only have a couple levels left. And then it's... I think there's a couple levels for Nasty Nork, you know, before we get to him. I don't remember for sure. Stairs. Got too anxious for that. I don't know who does what. Not sure. Oh, I saw. There was another platform, so I didn't have to jump up to that one, but whatever. Every now and then I'm looking at OBS here and I'm seeing my mic is got like a consistent sound going off with it. Hold on, it kind of started before I was fully paying attention, but yeah, so I'm hoping whatever is buzzing with it, I guess, I don't know, that it's not super audible. I don't really know what it is or why it would be audible, but I don't think I've taken the right path here. Let's see if it still works. I think... yeah, here we go. I'm going to... I can do that, okay. Just gonna figure we'll run it. It's a little easier that way. I think I still have, what, one more lighthouse light to light up. Okay, sorry I missed him. It's not gonna be good for the timer. Oh. Yeah, we're gonna have to do this again, I think. I guess we'll go back this way. It probably doesn't matter. I think we're out of time. Yeah, just barely, but... Alright, let's try this out. Try this on for size. Well, that's not what I wanted to do. Guess it worked out a little bit. Ooh. There was one more right here. Okay. Alright. I think we're on a good path here. Maybe. I think we can do this real quick, right? Oh, okay. Alright, perfect. So then just the 5 in that last area. And there's the train. Cool. Alright, we should be good. Yeah. Nice. Okay, not terrible. I feel like that was one of the better runs for one of these flight levels. And I think that's the last one. Or at least my fingers are crossed that it's the last one. Alright, so from here, I'm trying to remember. I think Lofty Castle is the one that I don't like. What's the destroy the hidden stump? No, Haunted Towers. Haunted Towers is the one that I don't like. That's all the way on the other side of the level. Let's, rather than backtrack, let's just hop in here and go for it. So we have to find the hidden stump and burn it. Or just find the hidden stump, I guess. Yeah, having more of that, the energy drink, that's really good. That's like, it's on par with Breezeberry for me. I love, I like Blue Raspberry because it's kind of sour, but a lot of the Blue Raspberry drinks don't have that sourness to it. Ooh. They have, you know, a lot of them are kind of just blue raspberry, but there's no tartness. There's no sour. There's no tartness. And that's what I like about Breezeberry the most. Is it's very tart, and I like that. So this one is very close to that. Honestly, it has that tartness. I think because it's like blue raspberry lemonade. Yeah, that's really good. Like I said, the other Babe branded Bucked Up Energy drink that I had, the Cherry Blossom, or I think it was called Cherry Blossom. Both of those are S tier drinks. And I'm surprised by that, but in a good way. Oh, I do remember disliking something about this level too. Mudada.
Berries are always on your side, Spyro.
One of the other things I was thinking about chatting about today, because I think I've said it, is one of the things that I struggle with streaming is just figuring out what to talk about. You know, a lot of it is I can talk about what I'm doing in the game. But there's a lot of dead air with it, you know? And, you know, it's okay to have that dead air sometimes, but having too much of it is not a good thing. And I find if I don't have something to talk about, and I only have the game to talk about, then there's just too much dead air. And I don't know how to riff on that and just roll with it. You know, so I'm trying to like figure out, okay, what can I come into stream and talk about? You know, that is not my point as to why I'm mentioning that. It was just kind of my train of thought on this next point, but Baruti.
Thank you for releasing me.
But I was like, maybe I can talk about my lore, you know, and the story of why I'm using a girl avatar rather than being a guy, and just doing that. Oh. Okay. I don't know why that... Whatever. You know, just kind of talking about that, you know, and what brought that to be my decision, and why I'm doing it, and all that, you know. When I originally came up with Sabrina and the character, there was a lot of brainstorming. You know, I had some ideas, and I thought I knew what I wanted to do. You know, I know a lot of people don't like AI and all that, and I don't either. I don't like AI. I like ChatGPT to kind of storyboard a little bit, you know, kind of bounce ideas off of, try to just brainstorm a little bit. For that, I think it's fine, and I enjoy using that a lot. So that's just kind of my 2 cents on that. But it took me a while to kind of be like, what can I do as a VTuber that's different and unique, you know? And I had a previous persona, I guess you could say, a past life that I ran for a little bit. I wasn't able to stream. I was having issues with stuff with streaming, so I ended up just recording videos, you know, and I liked my character and all that. But, you know, as much as I enjoyed it, I don't know. I didn't feel like that's what I wanted to represent me, I guess. I don't know how to kind of phrase that, but it wasn't... I felt like there was more to have an offer and kind of be, you know? What was this guy's name? Useni.
Thanks.
Nice
Supercharge
mustache.
will get you to new places here in Lofty Castle too. See where it takes you.
You know, and so my past life was a male character, and it's fine. You know, it's not like there's anything that I didn't specifically like about the character that I was portraying with that. It's just I felt like I could kind of do more, I guess. I don't know where I'm going. You know, I felt like it was... Whenever I play video games, right? I tend to do the guy thing where I like to play as girl characters, you know? But a lot of it isn't just to look at those characters. A lot of it is girls are just more fun to play as, and I mean, it's gonna sound weird, but like, it's fun to play dress up, and it's easier to come up with girl characters and just make them look cool, and I don't know, kind of create an actual story with girls. Whereas guys, I feel there's very limited, in my opinion, especially with clothing options, appearances, character creation, everything. It's just, I don't enjoy it. When I was younger, I would adamantly play as myself. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. Just bash into it. I would always play as myself. You know, I would create myself in games. And, you know, it was fine. But as I got older, it was like, I wanted to be something different. I didn't want to be me. There were so many custom, you know, character creators and in games and all kinds of stuff where it was just, I want to just play around and you know, just kind of be creative, you know. And so that's something that I've always done, is just creating characters, having fun, making something interesting, and just playing around, you know. And I can't really do that as myself. I'm very boring, very plain, very generic. And so I kind of started, you know, as I got older, it was like, all right, let's, you know, making guys is fine, but it's like, it just feels limited, in my opinion. And it just became fun to play as girls, and outside of looking at them and being able to enjoy that while you're playing, it was also like, okay, I can have fun just being somebody different, you know. And I enjoyed that, and that was kind of my thinking when it came to my past life. And this one was, you know, I made the guy character, the male model, and I liked it. You know, I felt a connection to it, but it felt very limiting. It felt like, okay, well, if I want to make costumes or, you know, outfits and turn this into something bigger and better, I want to have options. And I feel like playing a girl character affords that. You know, it's like, if I'm playing as a guy or as a guy character, it's kind of like, I feel limited. I do. I feel very limited creatively about what I'm able to do and what I'm able to turn this into, you know. And, you know, I did enjoy that character, but with this, it's like, okay, there's so many different outfits and fun things that I can think of that would be cool and fun to do that I couldn't do with a male avatar, you know. And so that was something, you know, that prompted me to kind of go back to the drawing board with my past life. Is I was going well with that. I was going to plan to stream with that. But it got to a point where my original Elgato died on me. And so I couldn't record videos, and I obviously wouldn't be able to stream. And so I had to put things on halt, put it on hiatus, and just set it aside, you know, until I could scrounge up some money to buy another capture card. And in that meantime, it was, okay, you know, I have this character that I kind of like, but I'm not in love with. and how can I bring myself to love this character, or what alternative do I have to find a character that I love? And I realized that it required me to go back to the drawing board and think about what really made me happy. As a character, what would make me happy to be and to present to the world, you know? And ultimately I decided, you know, it would be fun to play as a girl character, a girl avatar, build my branding around that. And so that's when I started kind of chatting with ChatGPT a little bit. It was sort of a brainstorming session of, listen, I have this character that I'm using, but I'm not in love with it. And I want to come up with something that I do love, I have confidence in, something that can really, I can latch on to, and that maybe other people can latch on to. And it was kind of like, all right, let's brainstorm. Let's figure out what we can do with this. And wasn't sure if he was going to drop that bomb or not, but it was just kind of like, okay, what can I do? I don't think I can hit them, right? I think I have to supercharge. Yeah. You know, the idea was kind of like, what can I latch onto? And, you know, and so ChatGPT and I started brainstorming, and it was just kind of, all right, let's figure this out. What would make me happy? What would I enjoy doing and being? Thank you. And the answer to that was, you know, playing as a girl and just trying to figure that out. And I knew that there was a lot that I could do with that. And so that was what I went to the drawing board with. It was like, okay, I know when I want to play as this female character, this girl character, and build my brand off of that, and just, you know, just build on that and see what I can do with that and see where my creativity takes me. And so that's what led me to the concept of using a girl avatar, right? But it took me a while to decide on this Siren character. You know, I did a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking like, oh, oops, a lot of, okay, I like this, let's see what I can build off of that. And then I would start building off of it, and then I would sit back and think about it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not feeling it. And that was like, all right, well, let's go back to the drawing board again. And I kept having those thoughts, you know, and I got to a point where I would come up with ideas and then drop out of those ideas and just forego them, you know. And I came up with some good ideas, you know. Originally, the idea was, how can I find something that's unique and something that other people haven't done, you know. And with how open the YouTuber space is at this point, there's not a lot that hasn't been done at this point, you know. And trying to figure out what would be super unique. And there were a lot of options. I know, like, some of them definitely sound really weird to say out loud, but one of them that I liked the concept for was, that it came up with, was Osako.
Hey, Spyro. Old
dragons know there's magic in a fairy's kiss. See what it can do to your power of flame.
You know, one of the ideas that ChatGPT helped me come up with was, because I had excuse me, I had a color scheme in mind, right? And it's the color scheme that I'm actually using. You know, the pink and blue, purple, black, cream color. I had those colors picked. I'm like, I love this. I love this color palette. That's what I want to use. And it was kind of like, okay, how can I almost shoehorn that into what I want to do? And one of the ideas that ChatGPT helped me come up with was like a confectionery Undertaker kind of character. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's a cute idea. It's fun. It's whimsical. It's, you know, it's a good idea. I liked it. But it was like, okay, well, I've got the idea. How do I come up with a name? How do I come up with story and lore and all this and that, and actually turn it into something tangible? And I didn't really have an answer for that. So that idea, as cool as it sounded, it had to go by the wayside. And so I ended up not doing that, obviously. So I went back to the drawing board again, tried thinking some more about it. I'm trying to, I think I'm gonna hit this one back up again. You know, so again, it was trying to figure out, you know, that time I went back to ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, listen, I love this idea, but I need a backstory. I need more to this. I need something to hang my hat on, and the story. And so what I ended up settling on, before again going back to the drawing board, was this idea of being a like messenger for the lost, for lost souls, and just kind of for people that felt like they maybe didn't belong, or, you know, just trying to give a place for people to kind of come and enjoy stream and forget about things, forget about life or whatever, and just have time to just relax and enjoy things. And so that was kind of my concept with the messenger for lost souls. And, you know, I came up with the concept. It sounded really cool. But again, I came up with some branding, some name options, but it just, again, it didn't fit what I wanted to be exactly. You know, I felt like maybe it was a little too, not dark, but more, I guess, subdued tonally, compared to what I wanted to be and present as a character. You know, like I said, I had this color scheme kind of picked out, and that's not something I would have been able to do with that character. And so that was like, all right, well, what can I do with it then? Or, you know, how can I take that concept and find something that fits much better than I'm looking for, right? And I think kind of the idea behind, again, making this girl character too is, you know, it's fun to play dress up and all that, but it's also led me, it came about because of personal kind of identity and sexuality questions, and just trying to figure out who I am and who I want to be and present as, you know. And you know, for my whole life I was confident and comfortable in my sexuality, in my identity as a person. But you know, over the last handful of years, things have started to kind of shift a little bit. You know, I had things that I was kind of locking away or not paying attention to, I guess is a good way of putting it. I wasn't listening to myself, and that was something I wasn't comfortable doing. You know, there was a lot of things where it was like, okay, well, I see myself as a guy, and that's what I know, right? Is I'm a man. I've always presented masculine, and that's, you know, it's always what I've been, and that's all I've known. And you know, especially in sexuality, I've presented as straight. You know, there's never been something that I've tried to question outwardly. And it's one of those things where I've realized over the last few years that maybe I'm not straight, and maybe I'm not 100% masculine. You know, there are things that I'm now realizing that maybe make more sense if I just accepted them and was like, I realize I'm not explaining this very well, but you know, it's just like, okay, there are signs that things are not exactly what I want them to be, and that's fine. And, you know, and it just took me a long time to kind of fully accept that reality, that like, hey, you know, maybe I'm not 100% straight, maybe I'm not 100% masculine. And you know, I had a friend, my best friend, introduced me to some community, right? And this was probably 2 years ago, 2 years or so ago. And it kind of opened me up to having that internal dialogue and just asking myself, what do I really want? You know, can I tell myself that I'm not who I've told myself I am all these years? And you know, that's when I kind of came to the realization, like, okay, maybe I'm actually bisexual. Maybe I'm more of a femboy than I am just a man or anything else, you know? And once I kind of came to terms with that stuff on my own, you know, I was able to finally share that with my best friend and say, like, listen, you know, I had a chance way to kind of break the ice on that, and I did. And you know, he accepted that, and from that point on, it was like, okay, I can fully accept myself, you know, and really be who I want to be, and or you know, start to embrace who I wanted to be. And that was also a huge part of why I chose to be this character. It was, okay, you know, I get to explore my gender identity and my sexuality, and it's kind of a free and safe way to do that. And so that was kind of a huge turning point in picking the model and what I wanted to do. And I wanted my lore to reflect that, you know? And so taking all of that stuff, the Messenger for Lost Souls idea, it was kind of born of that concept as well, of, you know, maybe there are people out there, I mean, I know there are people out there like myself who aren't sure how to just label themselves, or, you know, you don't have to label yourself, but the idea of there are people out there just like myself that maybe are questioning things, or they don't have an answer for things that they think they've known, or this or that, whatever. So the concept was like lost souls, just people like myself that didn't know where they belonged, or felt like they didn't understand themselves to a certain degree, or you know, whatever. And so that kind of amalgamation of my own gender and identity and all that. Hold on, I'm totally lost. I know where I kind of have to be. I'm trying to remember how to get there. But that was kind of the concept. It was like, how can I turn my journey into this character, this story that I'm trying to tell, you know? And so again, with ChatGPT, it was like, all right, I have this story to tell. How do I turn it into a reality? Sorry. Throat's getting dry. I'm not used to talking this much. But so we ended up kind of, again, going to the drawing board and you know, and just trying to think of characters, brainstorming what we can do to make that come to life. And you know, there were a lot of ideas that the two of us kind of brainstormed. I say two of us as if, you know, ChatGPT is like a person, even though I know it's just AI. But for the sake of my story here, I guess it just makes sense to kind of be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go with it. But so the two of us kind of brainstormed a lot, and it was just kind of like, okay, I'm trying to think here real quick, because I know where I have to go. Like I said, I just can't remember how to get there. Sorry, my throat is like super dry at this point. But yeah, so I went to ChatGPT and I'm like, hey, how can I incorporate my story into the story of this model, this character that I want my branding? And we brainstormed a bit, tons of ideas that just didn't click, you know. But at a certain point, there were a couple of ideas that ChatGPT did throw out that I'm like, hang on a second, we can kind of combine some of these things and turn them into something real, you know. And so what ChatGPT had come up with was a couple of different options and ideas. But what kind of struck me was they had suggested one for like a dream character, a character with dreams and nightmares and all that. And this was kind of around when Nimi Nightmare was just incarnating debuting. I guess I don't know how you want to say that. Just when Nimi is coming out with that stuff, and Nimi's huge, right? You know, there's no competing with that, and she's like a dream eater, you know, and so I'm like, well, I can't do that idea because she's got that already. So I'm like, okay, well, I like the concept. I like the concept of doing dreams and all of that. I am at a loss here. I can't think of how to get back over there. This was the level, like I said, that I don't like. Purely, one, for the hat, trying to get to the hat, but also trying to figure out how to get over there. Because I don't remember. I could have sworn it was that. But there must be something else, right? But yeah, so going back to my story. Hang on, I'm just trying to... Oh, I remember now. Yes, I remember now. You know, going back to my story. You know, I like the idea of the dream, right? And so I wanted to hang on to that. And here we go. There we go. Okay. You know, I like the dream concept, but I'm like, okay, what can I do with that? Opano. So I kept that kind of in the back of my mind, right? And one of the other suggestions that ChatGPT had was like a siren of some sort. And, or I don't know if it was a siren or a mermaid or what exactly it was. But it was something where I'm like, I could brainstorm into a siren, you know, and I had the thought of like, okay, well, you know, I have my story of, you know, trying to suppress thoughts of being, you know, what if I'm gay or bi or feminine over being masculine and all of that, you know, and it was something that kind of worked. It was like, okay, a siren in mythology is, you know, a siren that we typically know is, you know, this mermaid-like creature that sings and calls out to the world and sailors and all of that. And you know, I can take that and turn that into the same thing as my story, where it's like, okay, I have been repressing my siren's call, so to speak, you know, where there was a part of me that was like, hey, I'm here, I want to be a part of your life and your story, but you're keeping me hidden away. Why are you trying to do that, you know? And is that complete? Perfect. We are donezo. Nice. You know, that was kind of my thought process with it, is like, okay, I'm suppressing that siren's call, so to speak. There's a part of me that wants to express my femininity, that wants me to acknowledge that I'm not 100% straight. And I've been trying to suppress and not listen to my siren's call. And I realized that once I accepted that, I I feel much better about myself, you know, and I feel more confident in who I am and who I want to present myself as. And I was like, why don't I just, it's a perfect metaphor. I can just use those things those feelings and thoughts and everything that I was trying to suppress and just say, it's like my inner siren calling out to me, saying, hey, I'm here. Don't forget about me, you know. And I loved, and this is kind of where the dream concept comes back around, where I'm like, you know, I'm getting older and I feel like I'm trying to think here how I'm trying to phrase it, you know, but you know, I'm getting older. I'm not I'm not a spring chicken anymore, you know, and it's like at a certain point, you know, it's never too late, right, to accept yourself and whatever it is, you know, with yourself. It's never too late to accept yourself and find who you are. But there was certainly a part of me that felt like I've wasted too much time, that I haven't acknowledged this part of me for so long that at some point I'm gonna lose that part of myself, and it'll be too late to buy in and accept myself for who I want to be, you know. And like I said, that's not true. You'll be able to find who you are at whatever point in your life you're at. But that's personally, that's kind of what it felt like, you know. It's like, okay, it's now or never sort of deal. And I was like, okay, I can actually take that and make it part of my story. You know, I have this siren inside of me, and there's just this one night where I have this dream and I'm experiencing all of these things, and I have this intense feeling of like, oh no, I'm losing a part of myself that is going to be gone forever. And if I don't acknowledge it now, I never will. And you know, I now I have a link tree with all my socials and stuff that I will use at some point. But I have also included a lore, excuse me, voice crack, oh my god, a lore page that has kind of the story, the backstory, the lore that I lovingly crafted and put together to kind of explain who I am and what led me to be this character, led me to present to you as Sabrina Vixaria. And you know, if you want to check that out and read it, you know, it's kind of a long-ish read, but if you want to stick around and join me on my journey, you know, I implore you to check it out and read it and just get a sense of what I'm trying to present with my character, my branding. And hopefully it gives people a clearer picture of like, okay, this is who Bree is. This is who this character Sabrina, or you know, Bree, Sabreezy, whatever. That's who I'm trying to present as. And oh, there we go. So I'm hoping that it kind of clears things up. But that's, you know, if you read the page that I created, it does give you the lowdown on my thought process with the character and the story that I'm trying to tell. And the whole thing mirrors my personal story, my ignorance in not or you know, not ignorance, but my reluctance to accept myself, my true self, and the story behind that, and just saying, okay, you know what, this is unashamedly, unabashedly me. This is who I am, and wanting to share that with everybody. And again, you know, one of my early taglines, or I think it might actually still be my tagline on like Twitter and stuff, is a call to action to embrace your siren, right? And the idea behind that is, I hope that me accepting my siren's call, the siren within, right? I hope that by accepting my siren and presenting it and saying, like, look, this is the me that I've always wanted to be. This is the me that I want to share with the world. That by doing that, I can also get other people watching the streams, the VODs, whatever, to accept themselves and feel like they have a place to accept themselves, where it's safe and they belong, and there's no fear, there's no judgment, nothing. That you can just be who you want to be. And that's what I want my community to be, is, you know, I know a safe space. I know that's kind of like a hot topic, I guess, is being like, oh, it's a safe space. But like, I don't know how else to classify it as. I want this to be a safe space for people to come and just be themselves and say, I can forget about everything else. I can just be who I'm meant to be. And I want to be a welcoming community, a welcoming streamer that just says, you're all welcome. You're all valid. You're all welcome to be here, and I'm happy to have you here, you know? And so that's what I'm trying to curate. That's, I guess, my story. My long yap about my lore and the story that I'm trying to share with everybody else is, I'm excited to accept myself and finally be like, hey, this is me. This is my new confident self. This is who I want to present as. I want to share this with people and gain that confidence in being myself, you know? So that's I know it's a lot of yapping that I've done about it, but that's my thought process is, it's more than just being a pretty girl character, you know? There actually is nuance to me being this girl character. And, you know, the Japanese term for a guy using a female character is a babaniku. And there was a lot of self-doubt in that too, you know? I always worry that people will see this, you know, attractive girl character, this girl avatar that I use, see it on thumbnails or on stream, and they come in and they have this expectation of, oh, it's a cute, pretty girl. And then you come in and it's like, oh, this random guy is using this girl as their avatar. Are they pervert or this or that? You know, whatever. Are they creep? Why should I stick around and be a part of that? It's like, I get it. You know, it's on the outside looking in. Sure, it's very. It looks odd, you know, but there's nuance to it. Like, it's not just me doing this because I like girls, you know. It's not, and it's not me trying to sorry, I just got a text message, but it's not me trying to be a creep or anything like that. It's like, no, there is genuine there's a genuine reason that I'm choosing to use a female character, a girl avatar. It's because that's something I'm exploring in myself, is being more feminine and enjoying that part of me that I've, like I said, that I've shut out for so long, and that I'm now finally trying to embrace. And yeah, it's just, yeah, I guess, yeah, that's kind of my thinking going into all of this, is just, I mean, I am a pervert. I'm not going to deny that. But still, you know, it's like there's a line to draw. There's, again, there's nuance to everything. And it's not just like being a pervert for like, ooh, I get to be a pretty girl and do that, whatever. There is nuance to what I'm doing, my branding and all of this. So it's, I just like to explain myself. I know that's something that I'm going to have to do more and more going forward. You know, if people actually show up to stream and don't maybe understand that aspect of things. But I want that to be clear, is like, hey, listen, you know, I'm exploring something. It's not just trying to be a pretty girl as a guy. I thought that was gonna actually go higher. You know, it's me exploring who I really want to be. I feel like I went in circles on that conversation, but it was just me kind of trying to think a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of my lore, I guess, is just like, yeah, that's why I use a girl avatar, is because it's more of a personal exploration of my own self and what I want out of life. And it's a safe, creative way for me to get to do that. And so that's just kind of what I'm gonna do, you know. So yeah, I just thought I would talk about that a little bit and kind of share that a little bit. Like I said, I know I'm gonna have to reiterate that later on in the future, but it gives me something to talk about. So that actually kind of leads me into another point I was going to talk about today, and that was kayfabe, I guess. For those that don't know what kayfabe is, it's basically staying in character. And I'm curious to viewers, like, do you prefer characters, you know, watching streamers and YouTubers that stay in character, or do you not care if they stay in character? Because, you know, it's hard for me to figure out what I want to do as Sabrina, as Bree, because I'm trying to think here. Do you lower that too? No. Yeah, that's something else. Oh, maybe it's you. Might be you, actually. Is that you? Yes, it is you. Okay. You know, that's the whole thing of I've lost my train of thought. I was trying to think. Kayfabe, right. Trying to figure out if I want to stay in character or break kayfabe and just be myself. So I am curious to what most people tend to prefer. Do you enjoy VTubers that stay in character, You know, like, would you prefer that I refer to myself as a girl and kind of speak directly as Bree, you know, the character on the screen? Or do you not care? Do you recognize that there is a bit of a disconnect between the character you see on the screen and the voice and who I present behind it? So I'm extremely curious on that and what other people think. Like, because that's I do want to know. Do I keep kayfabe alive and say like, okay, yeah, I'm explicitly playing a female character, girl character, and that's who I'm gonna present as on stream? Or does it not matter and I keep Sabrina, the model, the character, the brand, separate from the person behind it, you know? So that's something I'm super curious and would love to hear about from people. Because I know for me personally, I don't really care if someone stays in character or in kayfabe. You know, I think there has to be a healthy balance. You know, I want to watch somebody that maybe plays up a character to a certain degree, but is also very authentic to themselves and who they're trying to be for their audience. You know, I don't want you to stay in character this whole time and just pretend that you actually are that character. You know what I mean? You know, like I was talking about with my lore and all that. There's nuance. There's a lot of nuance that kind of can get lost if you're not careful. And so that's just kind of my thinking on it, is like, how do I define that balance of, yes, it's me, the character you see on the screen, Sabrina that you see on the screen, that's me. And there's no, like, I'm not beating around the bush about it. Whereas there also should be a part of me that's like, yeah, I'm just a dude behind the avatar, a dude behind the brand, you know? And it's trying to figure out that balance while also making it not weird for the viewers, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to kind of frame it or frame what I'm trying to say, I guess. But yeah, so that was just a thought that I had. You know, it was another talking point that I came up with. I'm like, because I am genuinely curious what other people think. You know, because I've seen examples of it both ways, kind of. I don't know. I'm just trying to think, cause like, I mean, I know there's some VTubers that have branched out and do IRL stuff now, you know, and it's like, I don't have any problem with that. I'm not averse to peeking behind the curtain and learning how things work. I've done that for a lot of the VTubers that I follow, because I know a lot of them do actually have IRL counterparts, and I enjoy them so much that I want to consume their content no matter what form they are. And that's one thing that I do find that's fun is, one of my favorite streamers, I'm not going to mention who they are, just again to kind of keep the kayfabe, I guess, but they have an IRL, well, they have an old a past life and also do IRL streaming stuff. And I first found them as their current personas. And then went back, peeked behind the curtain, found their old content, their old stuff, and started consuming that. But you know, one of the things that I like to do is it feels like you're kind of in on the secret a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I know who this person is. I've seen them IRL. You know, on screen IRL, I should say. But there's kind of like, you're in the know. Even though a lot of it is kind of an open secret, it's not like, you know, it's not all that well hidden. But still, you know, it's...
Well done, Spyro. I hope you know what lies in
Amos,
store for you.
Amos, right?
Nasty's world is not the friendliest place you'll ever find. Are you ready to go?
Let's do it. And that'll be the last world for today. But yeah, it's kind of like almost code switching, you know? It's like you will watch a stream and they'll reference something that, you know, you would only know if you've seen their other content. And it's kind of fun to like sit and chat and like just watch and see what other people kind of give like an emoji or a comment where they're like also in the know, you know? So that's, it's kind of one of those things where I like that balance. Stay here. I don't know if that even necessarily quantifies as the same thing, but you know, yeah. So it's just, I'm curious what other people think, because I know there's some people that don't peek behind the curtain, that just kind of consume what they consume, and that's it. You know, they don't look further than that, which is totally fine. But it kind of plays into that kayfabe thing a little bit too, on a different level, I suppose. But yeah, so I'm just curious what other people think, because I don't really know. Like I said, I gave you my perspective on it, but I would be very curious to know how other people approach it and what their preferences are. And you know, I know it's hard, you'll never make everybody happy, but you know, trying to find a good balance, and just a balance to make as enough people happy, I suppose. I don't know. Again, I'm just kind of rambling on here a little bit, but these are kind of things that I think about coming into streaming and all of this. It's, you know, it's little, it's not like a huge thing, but you know, moving forward, I do try to stay cognizant of what the audience wants. You know, it's I know it's my stream, I can do what I want, but you know, I want feedback. I want to know, like, okay, here's what I can do to kind of make it more fun for everybody. And that is my thinking with it. It's just, let's make it a fun time for everybody. So how can I do that? So yeah, feedback on that, and just, you know, things in general. It can be very beneficial. Okay. Do that. Can I get him? No. One more will do it. But yeah, that's just kind of my thinking on that. Oh, shit. We're good. So yeah, that was just another talking point that I thought of this morning. I'm like, you know what, I can bring that up. That's something I do genuinely want to know. And I'm curious. I'm curious what people have to say about it. But we're kind of getting towards the end of the game here. I've been going for 2 hours, and Did we just rescue you, Latif?
Keep up the good work, Spyro. I expect Nasty's really starting to worry about you.
I'd be shaking in my Nork boots if I were him.
I've been yapping for 2 hours while playing this, and it does not feel like it's been 2 hours, which is great. You know, I'm actually happy about that. Happy that I was able to talk for 2 hours and not have a lot of dead air. That's a huge win for me. You know, I was just about to say, you know, I hope it's to anybody that's watching that it's been entertaining. But that's me again trying to protect myself and be like, you know, nobody's gonna find this interesting. They're not gonna want to stick around and be a part of this, and you're not who you think you are, you know. But that's what I'm trying to change. I'm trying to change that thinking in myself of like, yeah, I hope people enjoy what I'm putting out here, but you know, there's gonna be plenty of people that don't. But there will be some people that do enjoy it. I was gonna say again, there's some people that there are people that won't find it interesting, but there are some people that out there that will find this interesting, you know, and it's just trying to shift my perspective and look at it that way and just be like, yeah, there are people that will find me and be like, I have a great time with Bree and hanging out and streaming and stuff in their stream, you know. So it's, you know, you're gonna get to see that shift in real time too, is just trying to have that belief in myself. So again, excited to kind of share that with you and you all and oh, I thought I got it. There we go. Yeah, so that's all in all, it's part of why I want to stream, is to have this journey and just
Never thought I'd be rescued, especially by such a little dragon.
bring people along with me and meet all kinds of people
You gotta
that
believe.
are out there and have a lot of things to offer to the world themselves, you know, and things that they can offer me and I can offer to them. So I look forward to it. You know, this is something I genuinely have a passion for. I don't have a lot of passion for stuff these days for whatever reason. You know, I often feel directionless with things. Except for this. This is one of those things where I'm like, yeah, I want to enjoy this. I think I can make something out of this and have fun with it. So yeah, I know I've been yapping a lot about that, but I'm here to have fun, so I'm excited about that, and I look forward to sharing that with you and turning this into something special. Doesn't matter how long it'll take, but that's fine. You know, this is all to have fun, and I tend to lose sight of that. Like I said earlier, tend to be trying to make things perfect, and it just can't be. So like I said, you'll get to be a part of the journey with me, where we're trying to just do something special that I didn't think I could do, and just learn and grow, I guess. Yeah, I honestly did not expect to talk that much today. I didn't think I would, oh. Stupid idiot. Yeah, I did not expect that today, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna lay things all out on the table like that. Oh, I don't have sparks right now. Okay. Oh, and dumb. Yeah, I'm stupid. Sorry, little rat friend. Where are we going, Sparks? This way? Oh, I totally forgot. Is that it? Nice. Getting real close, because I think, what, there's 12,000 gems in this one? Alright. Got my phone. I'm just catching up on messages. Alright. Let us... Did we get 100% here? I don't know if I was paying attention for that. No. But I think... Yeah, it's in there. So let's see. We got 3 more worlds to go. Right? How do I open these again? 92%. So we're close. I don't remember. How was it supposed to open? Do I? Can I? Huh. Am I stupid?
Hi, Spyro.
I don't... Why can I not remember? Am I supposed to go through the exit? And I can't just exit the level? I don't know if that's the reason or not. Let's figure this out, because I honestly don't remember how to open up the door. I thought it would be fine to just leave, but maybe not. Oops. I would just be very surprised, I guess, if I actually had to leave through the exit and not just exit the level through the menu. You know, it's... I don't know, because I am trying to think, but I don't remember. I wonder if I can just fly to it. Right. Yeah. Cool. And it was this way. Oops. Okay. Thought we had this lined up. No, it's not this way. It's this way. Okay, so let's hope that this is correct. Otherwise, I'll have to figure it out. 'Cause everything else is done. I am unsure. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why I have to do that. All right. Let's see, 975, 875, 975. Yes. Okay. Off to a brilliant start. I kind of remember this level giving me a little trouble. I think there was a thing that I struggled with. We'll see if I remember what it was. Something with that, I think, and trying to get up there. I remember running around frantically. Okay. Okay. And these schmucks are very annoying, too. I do remember that. Alright, well that just gave me the life that I just lost back, so that's great. Yeah, so... Yeah, because there was something like a supercharge jump here, basically. Okay. I need to get Spark some food here. Is there anything for me? Our rat friends. Yeah, I want to say it was maybe to get to this or up there, maybe. I don't know. There was something about this that I struggled with, and I don't remember what it was.
Thank you for rescuing me.
But I think we'll find out, so... we shall see. I don't know why the big guys are easier than the little guys with the guns. Okay. Oh yeah, it was this. That was it. It was you hit these or you do that. And I had spent ages looking for how to launch myself up there, and I don't know why I didn't notice the hand cranks the last time I played. This time obviously I found it, but that was what had tripped me up before.
They better be on the lookout for me.
Alright. I believe I needed that to do that. I think. I don't think there's anything else to blow that up. And then obviously there's nothing to launch up this way, so. Alright, let's go back up and collect our loot. Is there anything around the edges? Oh. Oh, yep, there is. Alright, well, so we'll do it one more time. I just have to get everything. I think. Is there? Maybe it's around the... I'm not gonna jump on the pipe. I wanted to, but... Shit. I don't think there is anything there. Let me do this. Let me come over here. Okay. There's nothing. Because it would have shown up if there were. It's close. Oh. That was close. I need a rat. Please. Anything? Or at least a checkpoint that I can come back to. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. It's alright. It's alright. I guess they're not too difficult to deal with, the smaller gun guys. Okay. It's just, I'm impatient. And just jumping straight at them is not the smartest move. Oops. Is that it? Oh. Okay. Oh. Okay. Let's see. Oh. How did I miss that? I didn't miss it just once. I missed it both times. That's crazy. Alright. So that should open up next one. Yes, okay. Oh, this is actually it. I know there's a bonus thing, but all right. So we have to get him perfect. So, I don't remember how this fight goes. My arm's like digging into my armchair, the armrest on my chair. Right. Yeah, this is probably going to take a few tries. I know there's some thieves on this level as well, I believe. Yep, just heard them. Thanks for confirming that, buddy. Alright, so... Oh, that's right, they have the keys. Well, this is the area he would have run through if I wasn't quick on the trigger. I'd love if I could get him on the first try. I just don't think it'll happen. Okay. Well, there goes that idea. I thought the key went to that, but all right. Here, you schmuck. Oh yeah, I remember one of the achievements, I think, is to chase Nasty like 5 laps or something of this whole thing. I don't know. I forget what it is specifically. But I think you have to chase him around the level 5 times. Okay, that's that. There we go. The second key did it. Oh, it's this part. Well, let's get the gems first, because I have to redo this anyways in order to get the skill point. Unless that part didn't count and it's only this one, but I don't believe so. I think it's the full thing, because I don't think there are any other enemies on this level. So let's grab everything. Do we just flame him? Oh, shit. That's alright. Yeah, that's... Wait, hold on. There's... Okay, I for some reason was like saw a second door in my mind. There we go. Oh. Oh, that actually... There we go. Alright. It actually worked in my favor that I missed it. Or didn't get it. Because otherwise, I probably would have forgotten. Oh, fuck me. I, like, caught myself between wanting to jump and not actually doing it. Here, let me try going this way and see if I can come off faster. Yep. Barely, but I did it. Nice. I'm not really sure what he's yelling about right now. He was kind of off doing his own thing. Screaming. And groaning, I guess. I almost did it again. I'm trying to... I don't remember what I'm supposed to do with him. Because I don't think he's just chase him around X number of times. Or it is. Okay. I thought he was gonna move the well, I mean, I guess the platforms are moving, but not quite like I thought he was gonna do them. Nice. That's all the skill points.
You're toast, Nork.
Hell yeah. I don't know what's going on with my
So long. Almost forgot about you guys. What about
model. I don't know what's the jumping around for.
So now there's order again in the Dragon Kingdom?
Well, mostly. I've still got some treasure to find.
What will you do next?
That's really weird.
I'd say the sky's the limit.
Well, that almost does it for Spyro 1. We have a bonus level to do. And then after I do that, I will consider it completed. Skip ahead, I guess. Yeah, so Magnus, which I think he was one of the first ones we got, right?
Nasty's ancient history now. So what's in there?
I believe this is Nasty's treasure hoard. The gate will only open if you have found everything in the Dragon Kingdom. Come back when you have reached 100%.
Hell yeah. Let's just look at the guidebook. 100%. 12,000 out of 12,000. 80 dragons. 12 eggs. We got 35 lives. All skill points completed. And part 1 and 2 of the art gallery unlocked. Now we just get loot. I am excited, because that means the next stream will be Ripto's Rage. Or at least the next time I play Spyro, we'll be playing Ripto's Rage. Alright. I believe there are enemies. I think. Where do I go again? Okay, I just wanted to make sure before I did it that I could actually fly. I didn't want to just jump into the lava if I couldn't fly. I think there's a chase or something that I do through these tunnels. I don't know, there's something to it. I'm also not sure what these gems, like, their bonus, oh, it's 2,000, but like, really isn't much you can do with them. Not that there is for any level, but I don't know, it just feels kind of weird that there's 2,000 extra gems to collect. I had to like totally lock in on that one. Alright. Okay, there's more. Excellent. Yeah, I think there are definitely a couple of them in this level. Oh, I can fly, dumbass. Yeah, that's right, because they open up these different doors. Right. There's firework on that roof. We'll fly back up to that one. Yeah, like this is as high as I can fly, apparently. Yes, right. Okay, now we can actually fly a tiny bit higher, apparently. And that gets this one, okay. Oh, yes. Come here. Oh, you tricked me. Oops. Oh. Gotcha. Oh, okay. Didn't see those. Yes, this is the chase that I was remembering. Which way are you going, buddy? Back to the tunnel. Okay. Thank you. Right, up further we go. I think that just unlocks the rest of the height, right? this one over here. Oh, okay. Because I know there's another part. And I won't spoil until we get to it. Is that it for this area? Let's sit down right here. No. Okay. Let's go see what surprises we have in here. Seems like somebody's got a crush of some sort. Imagination rhymes with devastation. Confidence. There's nothing standing between you and your goal but a little tiny purple dragon. Knowledge is the power to turn dragons to crystal. Patience is for dragons. Teamwork. Let's see if we can find that one. Okay. Is for Norks, I guess. Is for Norks who can't do it themselves. Practice. It's not about being the best, it's about destroying everyone else. Okay. Oh, yeah, no, he didn't have a crush. He just... people loved him, I guess? I don't know. We're done, right? Yeah. Alright, let's head home.
Spyro the Dragon, you've defeated Ganasty Ganor, collected the dragon eggs, saved all the dragons, and recovered every bit of treasure in the Dragon Kingdom. How do you feel?
I feel fired up, Bob. And I'm happy for the dragon world, of course. I certainly wouldn't want to spend the rest of my dragon days butting heads with Nasty Nork and his weird minions.
What's a minion?
You're better off not knowing, Bob.
Never mind. You know what they say. For every good battle, you need a good adversary. And I felt that Nasty, in spite of his misguided nature, was a worthy opponent. Uh-oh. Here we go again.
And it just drops us right back at the start. Alright. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today. I'm glad we finally got through this. I'm sorry it took me so long to finally get back to streaming. Hoping to turn a new leaf with that. I will probably be next. I'll be back next. Probably Monday, I think. I'm probably going to stick with this morning time slot for now. It seems like a little easier for me to lock in and actually commit to it. So I think that's going to be the plan. But yeah, I appreciate you all listening to me yap and ramble today. Felt like a good fun stream where I could kind of just talk and explain some stuff about my character and my lore and all that. So yeah, glad I got to do that. Thank you for tuning in. If you were here live, watching the VODs, whatever, I appreciate you. And yeah, I will plan to see you next Monday. So until then, I will be signing off. Good night and have some sweet dreams. And take care.